What's up and welcome back to the channel. It seems to me that these coaches aren't even trying to hide the fact that they're lying, manipulating, and misleading you anymore. So let's have a look and see what I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in.
The next time someone says, I can't afford it on a sales call, here's what I want you to say.
This is going to be good.
First, you have to understand if they truly can't afford it. That just means that your product is mismatched with the kind of leads that you're bringing into your funnel. That would be a story for another day. This is for when you have the right lead on the phone and they're just making excuses.
Pausing it already to just address the fact that if someone tells you they don't want to buy what you're selling, their refusal of your product, your offer, your service isn't necessarily an excuse. Sometimes, picture this. I'm thinking of like a real life example here. I'm at a farmer's market. I'm walking around. I see cute rings. I like to buy lots of cute rings. I might initially think,
Ooh, these rings are cute. I want to buy one.
and then I take a look at all the options and I just think, you know what? I'm not actually vibing with any of these rings. I don't want to buy any of them, regardless of the price. I just know I'm not interested. That's not an excuse. That's just me realizing that I'm not really interested in buying a ring anymore, even though initially I thought I would buy a ring. Same goes for these coaching programs. Maybe I get on a sales call with you and I start to hear about, what's actually included in your coaching program, and then you drop the price. Sure, it might be partly the price, but it might also be the fact that when you listed out all of the features and benefits of working together, I realized, you know what? This just isn't the right fit for me. That's not an excuse. That's just reality. And I just hate that they want to paint every refusal or objection as an excuse. So already I feel like I'm not going to like whatever else she has to say.
My favorite reply to say to these people is, can you afford to be in the same place that you are 1 year from now?
Classic manipulation tactic used and perpetuated by so many coaches. In fact, I remember being on a sales call 8 years ago now where a coach used essentially this exact same line. Essentially, oftentimes, and please let me know in the comments if you've experienced this, they get you on a call and they will say to you things like,
Oh, let's imagine, where you're going to get from working with me in this program. What does your dream life look like? What if you were able to accomplish all of these things?
and then
Imagine you don't sign up. What does your reality look like? If we don't work together and you have to DIY this on your own, where are you going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, etc.?
And one of the reasons that I personally really detest this approach to sales is that if the person is to say no to this question, it basically feels as though it is a personal failure. So, can you afford to be in the same place a year from now? Can you afford to not work with me? How is it going to feel to be stuck where you are again 12 months from now? They want you to feel really bad about yourself so that you then decide to say yes. This is like manipulation 101. And it ties so well into the classic narrative of, well, you must not be that serious about your success. You're struggling with a broke mindset, or you're simply just too scared to invest. Again, not necessarily true, but they want you to believe that it is.
Because the truth is, there's 3 decisions that quietly shape your future. Number 1, who you choose to love. Number 2, what you devote your energy to. And number 3 is how you treat your body. After taking over 3,000 sales calls myself, I've heard every single objection you can imagine. I want you to practice challenging the person that's on the phone, because I truly believe that you're doing them more of a disservice if you don't sell to them, because the same lies and excuses they're telling themselves, they're trying to get away with telling you on the phone too.
I think that perpetuating the narrative like this is one of the reasons why we see so many underqualified coaches pushing their very, very overpriced programs onto people who either A, aren't the right fit to receive, or like the coach themselves isn't actually qualified to be delivering that service, but they're making promises they can't keep because they essentially just like guilt people into thinking that their program is the right fit. Okay, so then the caption goes on to explain 5 different ways you can overcome the objection of I need to think about it. So the first one is totally fair. What specifically do you want to think about? Vague objections are a defense mechanism. Clarity creates answers. Ask a focused question and you'll uncover the real concern. So I guess the idea here is that by asking them why they can't just make a decision right now, what is it that you need to think about, then the person can respond saying, it's about the money, it's about the time, it's about the commitment, and then you're able to overcome that objection once you uncover what the real objection is. Number 2, what would need to happen on this call for you today to be ready to move forward? This flips the frame. Instead of waiting on time, you anchor the solution on the present. Even me just reading this right now, I'm getting uncomfortable thinking about sales calls I've been on where I felt so much pressure to sign up right then and there. And I understand from a sales perspective that the statistics show if you get someone off the phone, your chances of closing them drop significantly. But there's just something so icky to me personally, and maybe this isn't the experience for everyone. I have a lot of people-pleasing tendencies, so I struggle with this a lot. But feeling like I'm gonna let someone down if I don't say yes to the thing they're proposing while we're on the call, huge amounts of pressure that I personally don't like. And this is really like if someone said this to me on a call, I would absolutely feel triggered in that way. Number 3 says, when people say that, it usually means one of two things. Normalize the objection and then split it. Either they're unsure this will work for them or they're unsure if they'll work for it. Which one are you feeling more? Call out the real fear gently. To me, this feels highly emotionally manipulative, just like in the video, because you're basically presented with two scenarios. You're saying either you think that this program isn't for you, or you think that you're going to fail because you're lazy and you're not going to do it. I know that's not what it says directly, but they're unsure if they'll work for it, to me, passes the buck back to the client of like, well,
if you're not successful, it's because you're not committed and you knew when you signed up that you weren't ready or serious to be committed.
And like, obviously, again, if you struggle with those people pleasing tendencies and someone is telling you,
either you think this program isn't a right fit or you just think that you're not going to be successful because you're not ready to do the work.
you're going to be like, oh my God, no, that's not me. I'm not lazy. I'm going to be successful. Sign me up. Icky. I don't like it. Okay, number 4, and this one is very similar to what was shared in the video. If you walked away and didn't join, what would change in your business? Pause, let silence do the selling. If they can't name a result, they'll realize the cost of inaction. I've already said this, but to me, this feels manipulative and just so backwards. Like, if I'm the seller of a product or service, it should be my job to explain or convince you why you should buy my thing. It feels very unfair to have the potential client essentially defend why now is not the right time to buy in order for me to like get off their back. It essentially tries to ignore any other priorities or concerns that you might have as the consumer. I don't know. Number 5, thinking usually isn't the problem, it's overthinking. They've already been thinking what they need is to decide. Your job is to help them feel safe doing that. Okay, this one to me, while it might not seem like that big of a deal, is like one of the most glaring red flags out of any of these sort of like overcoming objections tools. And that is because I think it is encouraging people to shut down their ability to think critically. And I say that because essentially, right where it says, thinking isn't the problem, it's overthinking. To me, as someone who has, looked at so much of this content, read between the lines, if you will, I can almost assure you, and I mean, nothing's ever definitive. This is all just allegedly, in my opinion, but discouraging people from overthinking is another way to discourage people from asking questions, doing their research, or having any level of healthy skepticism to determine whether or not this massive investment they're about to make is actually going to help them. Sometimes in life, if we want to make big purchases, whether it's coaching or some other thing that we're going to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on, I think it's completely normal to want time to think about whether or not we want to spend those hundreds or thousands of dollars. So to me, this approach of discouraging overthinking is really also just discouraging people to be intentional about how they spend their money. Again, back to the point I've already made, the onus should be on the coach to be able to explain the value of the thing that they're selling, not to just reduce the process to,
oh, you're just overthinking. You should just buy it right now.
I don't know. The whole thing just gives me the ick. Okay, the caption here concludes, the truth is, if someone truly needs to think, they'll come back empowered, but most people don't need time, they need trust. Ugh. It's why I built a repeatable sales system that's helped me close over $3 million in high ticket courses on Instagram. No pressure, no weird tactics. I find it highly ironic that this whole video, in my opinion, is
how to pressure people into a sale.
And yet the caption concludes by saying there's no pressure and no weird tactics. Girl, this whole thing was very weird. What? Okay, next up is a post where it seems as though this particular coach has completely lost the plot. So let's give it a watch. And I will say the text on screen before it starts playing is your best insurance policy is knowing how to make money without trading your time, even in the moments that aren't glamorous.
If there was one piece of advice I would give you is don't waste your in-between moment, your single season, your pre-marriage season, your pre-baby season, all of it. Don't waste it. Learn the skill sets of branding, brand essence, psychology, sales, messaging, offer stacking, like really truly become the savage CEO so that when the unexpected moments in life happen, which I could have never predicted this in my wildest dreams, but I'm still prepared for it. Like I don't have to miss a feed. I don't have to miss any stinky diapers. No stinky diapers. I get all of them. And at the same time, I can shoot content, create offers, come up with incredible launch plans, all because I understand business. And I spent so much time in the in-between moments learning skill sets that make business simplified. A lot of us create a lot of noise in business and a lot of things that take us out of our genius and overcomplicate this whole thing and funnels and landing pages and all this stuff. And I've done it all. But you become a mom and you realize how simple it just all needs to be, and you can still make sales. That to me is the most savage thing in the world.
Okay, caption then goes on to read, should we start a NICU series? I think yes. Don't waste the before moments. Before the man, before the marriage, before the baby, before the money, to learn how to make money without adding more shit to your calendar or to-do list. Because before all of that, you have time to build it the way you want to sustain it, time to figure yourself out, time to be selfish, time to lose yourself to it all. Not that you don't have it when it comes, you do. But in the in-between, you get to learn these new skill sets that you then get to apply during the transition into the next chapter that won't impact your sales or your relationships. Utilizing your in-between seasons is what makes you unshakable. Okay, specifically why I chose to include this one in this video is because I think that this highlights something that's very prevalent. I know, like in the MLM space, you see this a lot, and it's preached by a lot of these people that promise, building great wealth and financial freedom online is the concept of time freedom. Make enough money, set up all the systems so that when big or tragic things happen in your life, you have the flexibility and the freedom to not have to work. And the ironic or unfortunate part that I think a lot of these people miss is that, for example, making content like this, where you are literally filming videos of yourself in the NICU with your baby, who is obviously unwell, otherwise you likely wouldn't be in the intensive care unit, while preaching time freedom and flexibility is counterproductive. Because if you had true time freedom, true flexibility in your business, you wouldn't need to be making videos on the internet convincing other people that you have time freedom and flexibility in your business. And so this is something that I've never been able to wrap my head around. And I think we see it a lot in the passive income space as well. People that consistently post reels on Instagram every single day and then are preaching about how they have the secret to help you make passive income. But if you're constantly making videos on social media, that's not really passive income because you're actively having to film and post those videos. And so I think this kind of opens up the discussion around, 9-to-5 jobs versus being self-employed, and understanding that when you work for yourself, you don't have the same freedoms that you did have when you had a job. There are freedoms in both things. Being self-employed offers certain freedoms that a 9-to-5 doesn't have, but having a 9-to-5 also offers certain freedoms that being self-employed doesn't offer. And so, for example, paid sick time. Personally, if I had to take some time off work unexpectedly working for myself, yeah, I would probably financially take a hit from not working because I'm self-employed, and in order to get paid, I have to show up and do my work, provide for my clients. And when you have a 9-to-5, presumably a decent one that offers, PTO and sick leave, if an emergency were to occur, you could take time off work and still get paid. And so I don't know. I just find it hard to believe someone who is preaching,
have the system set up in place so you can make money and you don't have to always be working.
Then making videos during times where they presumably shouldn't be working. Like, if those systems were really in place and you really were making money, I just don't think you'd have to be on the internet convincing me that you're making money. But I don't know, maybe I'm just extra skeptical because I've seen too much of this nonsense in my time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, next video.
I believe that this video is for someone who is like so hopeless, needing a change. Like, it is possible as long as you put your freaking mind to it and just say screw it and do it.
Okay, so right away, we're targeting vulnerable people. This video is for people who are hopeless. Love that. I love to see it.
I promise you, I promise you, it is possible. Do not let fear keep you from making thousands of dollars. I had the busiest day ever, and y'all, I did not even look at my phone. I did not even look at my phone all day, really, until like just an hour or so ago. Y'all, $2,200 today. I'm just thinking about like where I was even a year and a half ago. Like, I was not expecting to make literally like anything close to this. When I first started, I was only looking for like maybe $500 to $1,000.
Just to clarify, this woman sells MRR, master resale rights. I've done a few videos on this. I think if you click here, it'll link you to the first video, and then there's like 3 videos in the series, but it's basically you pay $500, you get rights or ownership of this course, and then you're able to resell that course to other people for $500. And so I believe that that's what she is selling.
Like, oh, and I'm just having a moment. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just sitting here with my 3-month-old, and I'm just having a moment. Like, and this is just raw, uncut. Like, y'all, this is just like, it's just all because of that one decision that I made, which is so crazy. And I literally was almost not gonna do it. That's what's even crazier. I was talking myself out of it. I had a horrible following. I literally had 0 followers. I like just thought I just talked myself out of it. I just thought I wasn't equipped enough. I didn't know much about it. Like, I just thought it wouldn't even work, so I almost didn't do it. And it's life changing when I tell you it's life changing.
Much to her point at the beginning where she's saying she's targeting, you know, people who are very unhappy or not in a desirable situation. It is my opinion, allegedly, that she is painting this picture of I had no followers, I had no idea what I was doing, I didn't think it was going to work out, to almost pre-qualify people who are currently in that position watching this, being like, oh my God, she made $2,300 in 12 hours. I would love to do that, but I have no following. I don't know how to start. I'm not going to be able to make sales. She's basically taking what those potential objections might be and laying them out in the video to be like, I am just like you. Whether she's doing that consciously or not, I don't know, but this is such a common tactic that we see in the coaching industry of people wanting to, you know, paint this rags to riches story to make themselves seem relatable so that you, the vulnerable viewer, are much more susceptible to believing that it's possible for you to be successful as well. And so really it's just like a sales tactic at the end of the day.
I'm just rambling, but this is the honest, raw truth. This has been one of my biggest payout days since I've started. It's not slowing down. Now is the perfect time. It is hot. It is going crazy. If you've been looking at this for a minute, like, now hop in, full dive head first. And I'm just thinking about how if I didn't start this, like, I couldn't have these moments with my baby. Like, he would probably be in daycare. Like, it's just like money is just so important, and it didn't like buy me happiness. Like, I know money can't buy you happiness, but if anyone out there feels this, let me know. Money can really stress you out when you don't have it. I've been there. I was literally facing eviction just a year and a half ago. Life can change that quickly, and I feel like someone needs to hear it. It doesn't have to be a 5-year process. It can literally turn around in a matter of weeks, months, like quick.
I don't know. There's something about this entire approach of like the fake crying on camera, the really acting so emotional and empathetic, almost as if you're doing people a favor by sharing this opportunity. It all just feels very manufactured and manipulative to me. And I can also see how someone who might be finding themselves in that situation, maybe you are struggling to make money and you're struggling to make ends meet, you might come across a video like this and believe what she's saying is true. And I think that's the saddest part for me, is knowing how well these types of videos perform, and just thinking about how many people get taken advantage of as a result of not this specific creator, but content that is presented like this as this sort of like altruistic solution to problems that other people are facing.
So, God is good. All glory to Him. I'm just feeling really blessed, and I thought I would come on here as a real human being and share share with you guys my story and just the fact that y'all can do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Also, this is my only account, so if anyone's messaging you talking about Telegram or WhatsApp, please block and report them. Please, this is my only account, or that's why I always say, guys, go on my Instagram. I'll send voice memos to you.
Side note, that is so real. There's like 100 fake Danielle Ryan TikTok accounts. If you ever see one, please delete it. I don't answer DMs on TikTok, so if I'm messaging you asking you to send me money, please report as spam. Thank you.
It's just crazy. And so I have nothing else to say, but I love you guys and I wish this feeling for every single one of y'all. The exact blueprint that I followed, that I recommend everyone to follow because it freaking works, is at the top of my page. You guys can grab it.
I just wonder how we possibly can believe that this will work for every single person. It's like we see again in MLMs, you have the people that get in early and they recruit a bunch of people, and then the people at the top, they become financially very successful on the backs of the people they recruited and the people those people recruited and the people those people recruited and so on. Someone at the bottom has to be in the negative in order for the people at the top to be making so much money. And so I just wonder, like, how do we possibly think that if I'm buying and selling this online course and then, I'm selling it to Jane and Jane's buying it and she's selling it to Ashley and then Ashley's selling it to Sarah and so on and so on and so on, eventually we're going to reach a point where the people at the bottom aren't going to have anyone else to sell to, right? And so I just don't understand how we think like this is possible for everyone when we're quite literally selling air. Seriously, go and watch that video about MRR and the subsequent videos about it that I came out with after, because I think it really paints this picture as to why this is not a sustainable business model in the long term. And you're much better off, creating your own persona, your own business, your own assets if you want to make money online versus just like buying and reselling someone else's course. But I digress. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have content you want me to react to, you can submit it to the form linked in the description down below. Thank you so much to our channel members, specifically those of you in the Mastermind VIP, as well as my rich friends in the billionaire tier. Take care, comb your hair, and I will leave you on screen here with another video where women are claiming they can teach you how to make $10,000 a month. So love that for you, hate it for me. I will see you in my next video. Bye.